everybody! Thanks for dropping by! I thought since we are on the cusp of September and we have officially entered the holiday gift making season, and for those of you who haven't started making your lists, you might want to get on that. I thought party to the gift lists is something I refer to all year round, and that is my make-ahead stash. You may already have a make-ahead stash. You might not call it that, you might have a different name for it or no name at all, but if you're new to the world of crafting and or making gifts for people, then a make-ahead stash may not be something you have put together yet, but it definitely might be something you want to consider curating, if not for this year, then definitely for next. So today I thought I would take you through my make-ahead stash. I will show you some of the ways in which I organize it and definitely some of the stuff that finds its way into my make-ahead stash. A make-ahead stash can include just about anything. And since I've been keeping one of these for a long time, mine includes just about everything. Everything from the small and not even necessarily complete projects, all the way up to the big, totally complete, sometimes even massive, like blankets. The first thing in my make-ahead stash are craft supplies. This is my box of pom-poms. It's got all sorts of pom-poms in them. Some of them are store-bought, some of them people have given to me, and a lot of them I have made myself. I love to use up scraps of yarn in pom-poms and tassels. Especially this time of year, I find myself reaching for the pom-poms and tassels for hats and slippers and scarves and even some decor projects like pillows and blankets. So having a bunch of pom-poms on hand in various different colors and sizes and fluffiness and various textures is great because whenever possible, I like to make my own craft supplies, and if I already have something made, it cuts down on the time it takes to finish off a project, and it also saves me a bit of money instead of running off to the store to refill my coffers with a bunch more craft supplies. So little things like pom-poms and tassels and other little tiny craft supplies that are kind of a little accent for another project you might be working on, those are the sorts of things that I have on the smaller end of my make-ahead stash. Also in the small category of my make-ahead stash are things like appliques. So I have a little tin, actually I have several of them, of appliques that I've made. Sometimes these are things that are little experiments. There's some of them you see me make here on the show. I've got hearts and stars and bees and eggs and butterflies and just all manner of flat little shapes. I keep them all in various tins, not necessarily organized by a particular color or shape. Usually it's just what I can stuff into the tin at the time. But I like to have lots of little appliques on. Appliques are a slightly fancier version of a tassel or a pom-pom, and if I'm finishing off a project like a blanket or a hat or something and I feel it just needs a little something extra, I will dive into my applique stash and I will go through them to see if I've got something that suits the theme or the color or the person I might be giving it to. So another nice way to complete a project and personalize it is to have a bunch of appliques on hand. Moving up the ladder in size are toys. So I've got lots and lots of collections of little toys. I've got the little ones that we make here on the show. I've got other ones that I just kind of create because I've got some leftover scraps and I want to just put together something cute because I have a whim. But all of the little toys that I make, if I don't keep them myself, then I end up putting them into larger containers for down the road if I'm going off to a birthday party or there's some little people in my life who need a little something to cheer them up. I have a pile of these handy. These come in great, like I said, for birthday parties or other little gifts. Sometimes if you want to make a keychain for a friend, these are fun. They're fun to make, they're fun to have on hand, and you never know when you might need a little tiny plushie to cheer somebody up. And the final thing I have in my make-ahead stash is a great big tote that I keep full of all sorts of hats and gloves and even blankets. So I've got just a handful of them here today. Some of these you've probably seen on the show. Baby booties. These are fun to make. They don't take up a lot of yarn. And having a set or 2 or 10 or 12 pairs of baby booties on hand is great. You never know when somebody might announce they're having a baby, or you've got a baby shower to go to and you want to add a little something extra to that gift you've put together, or you know, somebody who's got a neighbor who's just had a baby and it's fun to sort of just show up with a little extra something. So baby slippers are always in my make-ahead stash. Other pretty little things, items of crochet jewelry like my collars or my buttons, other little things that I've made, just tiny little bits and pieces that I've made using thread or other small thin yarn scraps. If I'm not going to wear it myself, then sometimes I'll put it in the make-ahead stash because I might wind up knowing somebody who will. Fingerless gloves. I'm always making lots of pairs of these because I kind of get on a run of them. I enjoy making them, and if I'm not wearing them all myself, fingerless gloves make great gifts for a lot of different people. They can sometimes be the whole gift, especially if it's like for a birthday or just something sweet for a coworker or a best friend. Fingerless gloves are one of my absolute favorite gifts to give people because they're really pretty and they're warm, but not too warm, and they're very fancy looking. They kind of come off as like you really wanted to give them something nice and special, but you didn't want them to feel like you were spending a whole lot of money on them. So fingerless gloves are one of my favorites for that. And of course, blankets. Blankets, gloves, hats, everything in between. If you've made something and you like it and you don't really want to part with it just yet, but you're not really sure you're going to put it anywhere in your house, put it in your make-ahead stash. That's what I do with all of my things that I'm not sure what to do with. Because you never know when you sit down and make your list of all the people you want to give things to, you may already have come up with something or pieces of something that would fit that person perfectly. So always consult your make-ahead stash when you're making your list of people you're going to give gifts to. And that goes for the rest of the year. If you're running off to a housewarming or a barbecue, or you've got somebody's kid's party to go to, you might want to address the make-ahead stash because there could be something in it that would be just perfect for that occasion. It saves you time, it saves you a little bit of money, and you've already gone ahead and made those things. So you may as well have an opportunity to use them or incorporate them into a larger gift. And that is the make-ahead stash. I would love to know what you guys call your stash of goodies. You can leave me a comment in the boxes down below. I'm curious. I've always called it a make-ahead stash because I'm literally making it ahead, but I'm stashing it away. Yeah, and what kinds of things are in your make-ahead stash? Do you guys have a penchant for a particular little item you like to make? Or do you just have stacks and stacks of blankets lying around? I'd love to know. Anyway, that's it for this week, everyone. Actually, it's it for now. We'll see you on Friday here at the Jayda and Stitches show for another crochet tutorial. Until then, stay safe, stay crafty, have an awesome week, and we'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.